Thank you, thank you. So I'm Naeem Fazal, actually Naeem Fazal, but Fazal sounds better, doesn't it? It does, and I believe that beauty is the solution to fear. I believe that it's the beautiful things in our life that actually give us the power to conquer the most fearful things in our life. And I just want to take a survey really quick. If you can raise your hand just one last time here. How many of you have ever struggled with fear? That was like one time you did. Anybody? Yes, okay. Now those of you who did not raise your hand, I understand you're afraid, but here's a good thing. You're in good company. We all struggle with fear, and it shows up in different ways in us and in our society, doesn't it? I remember once I was flying out of a small airport in Kansas, and yes, they do have airports there, and it was like the perfect scenario for me, because I was going through security, and as I got there was no one there. I mean, like, there was the people who were supposed to be there, but no one else. And so I don't know if you travel or not, but this is like great. I'm like, I can take my time and strip. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to like play some music, do something, but I'm good. I don't have to rush. Right? I don't have to rush. And so I go through, I take my time and I put my bag through the thing, and it comes to the other side. And I'm about to grab it. And this lady, she's, obviously works there. And she goes, "Sir, is this your bag?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is my bag." She's like, "Sir, you have been randomly selected to have your bags checked." I thought it was a joke. I was like, yes, yeah. And she's like, "Sir, do you have any weapons in here?" I was like, no. And then in my mind, I was like, don't you need more than one person for it to be a selection or random? But I get it, I get it. Listen, I get it. I know what I look like. Not the guy from Lost. No, I don't. And I get it, right? After 9/11, we live in a different world with the rise of ISIS. We live, unfortunately, in a world that's managed by fear. I get that. I expected that from her. But there are some people you just don't expect that from. And so I'm at a luncheon at our church called Mosaic, and it's it's where I meet the new people who show up to the church, and so this couple show up, and at the end of the luncheon, everybody's leaving, but this couple starts walking towards me, and the wife is, she's visibly upset, and I'm like, okay, I got this, I'm a professional, and so I'm like, what's going on? And they come closer, and she's like, I don't know how to say this, and I'm like, girls, let it out. What is it? What is it? And she was like, well, see, I just think that you're a sleeper terrorist pretending to be a pastor, and one day you're just gonna turn. I was like, see, part of the problem was, I didn't know if she was like confessing or wanted me to come clean. Like, I didn't know. And my head, honestly, I was like, should I pray for her or punch her in the throat? Because I don't know. I don't know what I do. What do you do? What do you do? But you know what? I get it though, right? We understand this. Why? We get it because fear always breeds mistrust. And mistrust justifies prejudice all day long. It justifies it. Mistrust justifies being prejudiced all day long. We've seen this in our own backyard, in our own city. But some people would say, here's the solution. The solution to fear in an individual and in a society, it's really faith. You need to trust more, believe more. Some would say it's courage. Really? Because it seems like that faith and courage are just the opposites of fear. They're not the solution. I believe it's beauty. Beauty is the solution to fear. It's the beautiful relationships, the people, the moments, the dreams that we have that gives us the power to overcome the prejudice and the anxiety and the worry and the fear in our lives. It's the beautiful things in our life that overcome the most fearful things in our life. And now you can tell me to believe in this person and trust this people group who does not look like me. But I'll tell you one thing. When I look at a people group and then when I see the beauty in them, it conquers the fear of them. Beauty is the solution to fear. And you know what? I think fear knows that it can be conquered by beauty. Isn't it ironic that tyrants throughout our history, when they want to oppress a certain people group in a certain culture, here's what they do. They remove systematically beauty out of that culture. They destroy it. I saw it firsthand in the Gulf War in 1990 as a teenager when Saddam invaded Kuwait. He began destroying beautiful landmarks, beautiful mosques to instill control and fear. Because if you remove beauty, you can instill fear in people. It's the world we live in. But see, fear knows that, yes, it can control our emotions, but only beauty has the power to shape our souls. There's a guy, Thomas Piskak. He's a marine biologist turned photographer turned advocate. And he began to see that there was a certain people group, a native group that was just destroying the marine life in their part of the ocean, their part of the world. And so he began to take photographs of just the horror that they were doing. He began to expose them. And he was hoping that fear would make them stop doing that. He wanted to show what they were doing, the ugliness of what they were doing. So he began to show these photographs. And he was so frustrated because nothing changed. And then one day, he just thought, I'll just capture a moment of beauty. And then he began to capture the wonder and the majesty of the ocean. He began to show the natives what lie beneath them. He began to show them the beauty of the oceans that they were destroying. He said everything changed. They stopped it. They figured out how to do what they needed to do, but they stopped it. He says this, beauty changed them. I mean, don't we intuitively know this? I mean, our storytellers have been talking about how beauty has the power to transform and tame the beast. We kind of know this. We know that from prison inmates to kids with disabilities, exploring and creating beauty has the power to heal the spirit, soul, and body, because beauty involves dreaming and creating a better future, not just for yourself, but even for the world. My daughter, she's 10, and she has a learning disability. And she's afraid that she can't read. And so my wife has been homeschooling her. And my wife has a fear as well that she can't teach. And so we have two people, one who is afraid that she can't learn, the other one who is afraid that she can't teach. And recently, on a drive back home, from out of nowhere, my daughter tells my wife, she says, Mom, I just want to let you know something. She's like, what? I just want you to know something. I wouldn't be able to do what I do right now if it wasn't for you believing in me. Wow. It's a beautiful moment. Did you see that? It was a beautiful moment between them that pushed the fear in both of them. And the question is, do we have beautiful relationships in our life? Beautiful people in our life that refuse to leave us in our despair and our darkness and drag us into life and light? Do you? Do we? And what happens when you don't? 2 months ago, my dad, he put a knife to himself. He wanted to end it. And unfortunately, he was unsuccessful. But 10 years ago, he had a massive heart attack, and he had to have a quadruple bypass. And because of that, he didn't want to do anything that would get his heart rate up. He refused to drive. He refused to do a lot of different things. He stopped living. What actually happened is he let fear into his mind, and it took over his soul, to the point that he could not see anything beautiful worth living for. I remember talking to the doctor. His doctor said, hey, listen, you know what? These meds are necessary. And rehab is so important, but your dad needs a reason to live. Of course he does. Don't we all? My dad can't see a beautiful future for himself or his family. And so he is unable to push back the fear and the depression in his life. Do you? Do you? Now, I believe that if you and I have beautiful relationships, beautiful dreams, beautiful futures, something that consumes us, then we will have the power to push away our anxiety, our depression, our prejudice, our fear, disappointment, and failure. Because beauty is the solution to fear. You know, it's said of one religious leader that for the joy set before him, he endured the cross. That he saw a beautiful humanity that was worth dying for. But can it not be said of so many of our leaders throughout history? Of people who have dreamed a dream so big, that's seen a society so beautiful and so loving, that they've gone through hell to make that happen, and then lived that way, but then actually gave their lives for it because they were consumed by the possibility of a beautiful society. Could it be said of us? Could it be said of you? Why not? Why not? Dream a dream so beautiful. Have relationships that are so beautiful. Have moments in life so beautiful that give you the power to push back the things that want to eat up our soul. You see, I think it is possible. It is so very possible. Because our fears cannot see something that we do. Fear can't see beauty. And only beauty has the power to reshape our souls. Now, I love what Sarah Williams writes, a poem. And she says this, she says, though my soul might set in darkness, I will rise in perfect light, for I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. Thanks, guys.